Hi, today we're going on an exciting mission here in SENTRY. We're going to learn how to find and fix bugs in our code. And we're going to do this even before our users that we're coding for will see them. So we're going to be really good detectives today. Now, let's have a look at what we're going to do here. So think of us as we are building a beautiful house. So our house would be our app. Sometimes we can say something breaks at home, the power or a pipe, or the light stops working. And when that happens, we kind of want to know it immediately so that we can fix it before it hurts anyone or we have major damage in the house, right? So that is what we'll learn today. We'll learn how to do that with a tool called SENTRY. Okay, so first of all, what is SENTRY? So SENTRY, as you can see up here, this is SENTRY. It says code breaks and fix it faster. That's their slogan, right? Code breaks, fix it faster. It's an application monitoring software considered not bad by 4 million developers, so quite a few. Now, think of SENTRY like an emergency call center for our application. When something goes wrong in our app, it crashes or an error, SENTRY gets the emergency call immediately. So 112 is where you get to. Now, several key points here that we can think of when we use SENTRY. First of all, it collects information about the error, like the call center 112, and it would write down the details. Okay, so where and when, what happened. Then SENTRY also organizes the errors. So you can have it, let's say the call center says, okay, this is a plumbing issue, or this is an electrical issue. Now, SENTRY also shows us exactly where the problem is. Okay, so you can see it in your house. Okay, well, maybe the problem is in the bathroom or in the basement. And it alerts us. So it can say, we're sending you an electrician. And that's us. We'll fix it. Okay? Now let's install SENTRY. And basically what you do is like you're installing a new alarm system in your house. Okay? So we go to sentry.io and we're going to click on, let's see, get started here. And I'm going to sign up with GitHub. There. They want access to my email, which I think is fine. So authorize. Now it says new identity. Hi there. We couldn't find a SENTRY account with a verified email matching your primary verified GitHub email, github@vangraag.eu. If you already have an account, add this as a verified email. Okay, so I don't have it. So otherwise, create a new account. I'm going to click there. Name required. This is required. Organization. So I'm going to type in Suns Gordon. There. So if you are signing up for a personal account, try using your own name. Yeah. Then data storage location. So we're in the EU. We agree to the terms and conditions. And I do not want any email updates. Continue. And now we get here. Welcome to SENTRY. Your code is probably broken, maybe not. Find out for sure. Get started below. Install SENTRY. Select your languages or frameworks and install the SDKs to start tracking issues. SDK meaning Software Development Kit. Click Start. Select the platform you want to monitor. Set up a separate project for each part of your application. For example, your API server and front-end client, to quickly pinpoint which part of your application errors are coming from. So we have a few options here. We have React for the front end, we have NodeJS, and we also have Express. We're going to click on Node.js, and we're also using Express. So, to use the framework, our Node Framework SDKs include all the features of our Node SDK with instructions specific to that framework, and we're using Node.js with Express. So, configure SDK. Let's zoom in a bit and let's follow these steps carefully. So, first of all, we're going to install SENTRY, and we do it in our project. So, I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. We're going to open up the terminal down here, and we're going to paste this in. We can see in our package.json now that SENTRY is installed. Then we're going to configure it. Initialize SENTRY as early as possible in your application's lifecycle. To initialize the SDK before everything else, create an external file called instrument.js or MJS. So let's do that. Let's create a file. Clear. Let's zoom in a bit as well. Touch. Instrument.js. We have it here. Now, let's copy this into that file. Oh, not there, of course. In here. There we go. You can see here that we need to fix this one, and we're going to say import and there. Because we're using the ES6 syntax. Now let's go back here. We scroll down and it says make sure to import instrument.js at the top of your file. So we're going to do that here. I'm going to say import this. So we can copy all this. Actually, nah, we're not doing that. We're going to type it in by hand. So I'm going to split this in half here. And now we have both files here. So we're going into our index.ts file here. And we're going to say, as you're seeing right here, this here, import, and paste it in. There. Now we're going to say const SENTRY no, we're not going to say this, of course. We're going to do this. There. There. And now that we have this in place, then we have const app equals express. We have that here. And this is all your controllers should live here, and they are there. Then we have the error handler, and this one must be registered before any other error middleware and after all controllers. So let's move this one here also to the bottom. There. Let's paste this one here above it. There. And let's have a look here, what's in here. No, we don't need that one. Then we can get this thing here. And because we want to see if it works. So, there. And actually this thing here, we need to update that, I think. Let's have a look where we do that. So I actually want to go to check here. And I've done that step. This one here, I think I want to replace that. Copy. This is a different number. And there. Save. And let's have a look here. So now if I am going to start the terminal, let's see if we are getting, let's see, I'm just going to click. Here it's waiting to receive my first event to continue. And I want to go and hit this one here. Debug this SENTRY. So I'm just going to start a server, npm run dev, there, and I'm going to localhost 3000 /forward this here, so it's a get request, so I can do that here, and I get this, so that seems to work, and it says here event was received. So I can say, take me to my error, and now I can see the error is logging in SENTRY. Now in our instrument.js, this here, we don't want to publish that. So I'm just gonna cut that out, go in here, create a variable here, DNS equals that. And then in here, we're going to say process.env SENTRY DNS, like this. Now let's have a look at this. We can take this one away, by the way. We don't need that. We just tested it. Let's have a look at this first. Get items. Okay. So what does it do here? Well, the app.get and then /forward items and then the rest of my syntax here means when someone does a get request to /forward items, we run this function. And await prisma.item.findMany is asking the database through Prisma to give back all the items. So find many is the same thing as get all. Now, if it works, it writes a message in our log, and it will say fetched all items. And it also sends back the user in a JSON format, or the item. Now, if something goes wrong, the code here jumps to the catch block, the error handling part. And this can have different reasons, okay? If the database call fails, maybe it's because the database is down or the code is wrong. So all of that we handle here in the catch error, if error, instance of error, and then the syntax here. So this checks, is it a real error object? And if yes, we use SENTRY and the logger to record it. Let's write something more in here then. So we can write, for example, SENTRY dot, and in here we're going to have all these different options. So right now I'm going to use add breadcrumb. Okay. Inside this breadcrumb here, well, think of the breadcrumb like little notes, okay, little notes that tell the story before the crash. For example, you can say the user opened the items page, or we can say the user clicked on the buy button. So basically it helps us to understand what happened before the error. So in this case we can say message, and we can say fetch items root, and we're also going to say that this is a level of info, and we've seen it with Winston as well. There. We can also add something like SENTRY dot, let's see, I want to go down here, set tag, for example. And a tag is like a sticker or a label for the error. And then with the tag, we can then later on filter in the dashboard, the SENTRY's dashboard. For example, we only want to show errors with the feature that equals items. So tags are basically helpful, but they're optional. Let's try them now. So we can say this is a feature. And we can add another tag, maybe items, like so. And then we have this one here that I had typed in there already, SENTRY.capture exception error. And this is actually the main line. This sends the actual error to SENTRY. So we can see it in our SENTRY dashboard with all the details. The stack trace, the file, the line, the breadcrumbs, the tags, etc. Okay? And then we log it to our own console log as well here. So here we actually use Winston to log it as well. Now these things here, we don't need them, okay? SENTRY also logs things if we don't clearly add a SENTRY tag, for example. By default, SENTRY will already log the error message, the file, and the line number, where it happened, the stack trace, so basically that is the path of the error, the environment, whether it's in development or in production, and some request info, if we use the request handler. Now, so basically we can say that this line here is enough to send our error. But to add these things here, so the tag and the breadcrumbs, they just add a bit more helpful context, so it helps the team you work in to debug faster. So the little bit of extra input you put into it will help you to debug later. Now let's try to get the error. So we do that if it cannot get any items. So I'm going to break it. So basically I can say here I am going to take away the capital M, so like this. So now it's incorrect. Let's do npm run dev. There. This is false information because it's not connected. So we would have to fix that later as well. And let's go into MongoDB, Insomnia, I mean. And let's go and get all the items, send And you can see now that we are not connected, authentication failed. And let's have a look in SENTRY. And I actually saw that I had written this wrong too. I did not import .env, not configured it, and I had this written here. So this should be SENTRY_DSN. This was written as like this before, DNS. Okay, so make sure it's capitalized and DSN there. And the same here, I had written DNS, but it should have been DSN like this. Now the error stays the same, of course. We did not connect to the database. And what you can see now is, if I pull it over, I open up SENTRY, is that I have some new errors here. You can see this was an earlier one from earlier today that I showed you. And I have this here, an error, and another error here. So let's open up this one here. You can see they're all connected to the get items here. So they are connected. And let's take this one here and see what we get. So we look at this one here, and we can see here that there are tags. And we have, if we look here, we tagged it here with feature and items. So we have one feature here and items. Yeah, so breadcrumbs, tags, feature, items. There we go. So we have that. And we also entered fetch items route level info. So let's have a look where we can find that. And if you scroll down here, then we have the breadcrumbs, as you can see here. Breadcrumbs here, message. So we added a message here, fetch item routes level info. So breadcrumbs here, and there we have the, fetch item routes, and the level is info. Okay, you can see here it's authentication failed, so you know you have to look at something with why is it failing here. It's failing on line 21 here, so it's awaiting and it's not getting anywhere. Okay, now if you share your project with your team, then you can now assign it to someone to look at this issue. So you don't get these tags, you don't get the breadcrumbs, the extra information, if you leave those out. Okay, they're not compulsory, but they help you to debug your code. Now, let's quickly put that M back. Where was it? Was it here? I hope so. Let's find out if I did the right thing. And say here, send, yes. Great. And now I know I have resolved my issue here, so I can click on resolve, and it's resolved. And this is also resolved. And I know that because I took it away. And I know this one is also resolved because it was the same issue. Great. So I have no issues now. Woohoo! Okay, so basically the minimum you need to add to your code is this capture error. So I will add that into every part of where it catches the errors. And there. And basically what you need to do is add these breadcrumbs, add the tags to help you debug faster, and see SENTRY as your task manager. It collects errors that you might not be aware of. It shows it there, and with your team you can assign each other, say, can you please fix this error, can you please fix that error. There are many more features in SENTRY, but these are the basics that you need to know. There is also, if I go back to SENTRY, here, sentry.io, and let me actually log out. Or do I need to log out? I want to see the, let me move myself away from there. Okay, sign out. And I go back to SENTRY. If you look at the pricing here, so sign up for the free tier for solo devs working on small projects. Okay, for now you cannot work with your team on SENTRY. It's only for yourself, but you can try to play around with it with your own projects. Okay, you get error monitoring and tracing for free that we looked at, alerts and notifications via email. And let me have a look. I'll show you an email actually. So here's an email that SENTRY sent me earlier today for the initial error when I tried to get to the endpoint debug SENTRY, where it threw me the exception because I did not add the breadcrumbs or any tags, but these are the tags it gave me without me adding any. So you can see this is the computer I have, the OS I'm running, the Node version I'm running, the Mac OS version I'm running. So you get a lot of data there already. So you get that for free as well. And 10 custom dashboards if you want to play around with them. Yeah? So that's your SENTRY introduction. Basically a debugging task manager, you could say. Okay, see you later.